So welcome to the podcast. We're here at IHRSA 2023, leaving the event off to go and get some drinks and doing a bit of a wrap up on what we saw over the last couple of days. So what would be 2 or 3 of the takeaways that you got, Emma, from the show?
Yeah, so yesterday I had the great pleasure of attending a lot of the sessions. So I went to the financial panel, I went to Brian O'Rourke's trend sessions, I went to various customer service experience sessions as well. There's been lots of social events where there's lots of chit chat, where people are sort of giving the vibe as well. So some takeouts for me, I mean, the financial panel was great. There was a good hour and a half of some really high-flying analysts and people in the industry really talking that through. So general optimism, I would say. We're definitely going to have a bright future. It's a little bit lumpy now, as we all know. Funding has sort of dried up for anyone who's got a great idea. You've kind of got to have a really good business model and some paying customers now. So that's definitely flicked into more of a profitability model now, which isn't a bad thing. You know, it just means good, solid business. So that was really cool. Brian O'Rourke was amazing. You know, pitching into the trends, you know, where technology is going to take us, those sorts of things. And then probably just for me, walking to the fabulous trade show floor today, talking to a lot of the big players, you know, there's a lift, people are coming back, not always evenly, and then they're definitely having to change a little bit around the customer base. So it's skewing younger, there's more innovation, there's more integration, and people want a seamless, beautiful experience. Those are the things I took from the show so far.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I've just made a few notes here. I think definitely this sort of optimism. We did Miami last year, and then there was Dallas the year before. Yep. So you can see this sort of upward trajectory, which is positive. I think that's great. General resilience. I think the fitness industry are a real resilient crowd, and I think that optimism combined with the resilience is really why the industry is still here. It's amazing that although a lot of people have been through a real tough time, it's amazing how people have been very creative and been able to sort of pull their businesses through however they've managed to do it, whether that's on the vendor side and the operator side. So I think that's pretty exciting. Innovation, coming here, you know, people can argue, well, was there really any innovation? But I just think there's a spirit of innovation and how can we do things differently and how can we repackage things and how can we think differently. It was quite encouraging, a lot of the conversations around that. And I think the final thing, which is quite nice, is, you know, we've both been in this space for a long time, as have many people that we spoke to. And I think there's this great sense of collaboration, which I don't think I've seen quite as much before. A lot of people are sort of cutthroat and suing each other, and it's been fairly sort of hostile. But I think generally everyone has got a sense that we're all together, regardless of who you are and how you compete. We're in the same space, and as Dave said in one of the interviews, you know, a rising tide lifts all boats. And I think that's the spirit that I got from the event.
And on that, probably the final point from me would be advocacy. I think we're really making some inroads there, whether it's at policy level, you know, influence in Capitol Hill, but also what we're doing in the market to influence people that this is a healthy way. We are preventative health. Yeah. So
enjoy this fantastic episode live from IHRSA 2023 in San Diego.
IHRSA 2023, we are back, baby. This is the big boss. Tell us, how's it been feeling?
Man, I am pumped. We are crushing it. This is so much fun, so much energy. It's like amazing.
Like, we never not come, but we've noticed like football's back. Like, what are the big highlights for you this year?
Well, I mean, I'm just seeing more from everything, different cardio, different weights, different everything, and different recovery, and like everybody's rolling out new stuff. And so I'm seeing, like, you go to booths and they're like, half of our stuff, we're just rolling it out for the first time. So it's so much new stuff. Awesome.
And I'd have to say partnerships as well. So you've partnered with Boutique Fitness Solutions, for example. So there's a whole studio stream now, which is awesome. What other partnerships have you done this year that you're excited about?
Well, I just got to speak to the boutique fitness, because the fitness in the boutique community is so important to us, and we just need more of that. And so I'm really, I think Thursday's going to be awesome, what we're going to do with them and what we're going to do years forward. And then beyond that, I mean, we just have so many amazing partners. I couldn't even start to list them because I'll get in trouble because I won't list them all. But like, we got awesome partners, and they're all around here, right? Everybody that has showed up at this show is a partner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Now, Liz, you were hired for advocacy. How's that going? How are we going on Capitol Hill?
How are we going? Well, you know what? It's I love it. It's in my blood, right? You know, it's what I do. But we just introduced the Fit Act, which is huge, and we got more co-sponsors as we introduce it than ever before. We told the White House about it. We're talking to the WHO. We're fighting fights on the state level. I've got an awesome team now that I'm building in DC that we've never had. So it's like a 180 from where we've been even just a year ago.
Okay, your whole team is touching me on the shoulder. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Keep going.
I love you guys.
Yeah, love you. Thank you. So look, you have clearly been very busy over the pandemic. We're seeing new product. We're seeing a huge booth. Tell us a little bit about what you've been up to.
Yeah, so the most important piece is moving from an inside-out company to an outside-in company. So what we did during COVID is more and more also operators had a bit more free time. We were truly investing time to really understand what their needs are. What we also did in the meantime is really creating a much more segment focus, because the needs, you could translate that into general needs versus segment-specific needs. And we really looked at segment-specific needs, and that's what you see also now presented on the booth. We have a HVLP value proposition with everything lined up. Then we have a mid-premium value proposition. And then, although only a few people have seen that, is our ultra-luxury position for the really upper premium operators, both in the health club area as well as in the hotels and multi-unit housing areas.
Right, so we're in the US now. We've all got FIBO in Cologne next month. How are you looking at the world? Like, what are the world trends? How are you serving the world, not just America, I guess?
How are you serving the world? The interesting is there is no one formula. It's really looking into US is different development stage as Europe, as is in Asia. Simple example, if you look at Japan, although everybody talks about China being hit hard, and it is hit hard, Japan is even hit harder because of if you look at the age of the population, it's the oldest population in the world. And what you see, if you look, for example, here like a Planet Fitness with Gen Z, Planet Fitness like a Basic Fit also, they are almost at the 2019 levels. Where if you look at the operators in Japan, which is much more traditional, but also with a much older population, they are concerned still to come back to a gym, because that's the place where you're working out close with each other. So we are of a strong belief that one size doesn't fit all. We do that in our product offering, but we also do that in our approach towards the countries. We still look at, in order to create efficiency in the organization, we call it glocality, so 80% is global, but there's definitely that 20% local touch and translation.
Wow, that's great.
What in terms of the feedback and the sentiment from a lot of the customers and the distributors from around the world, how would you sum up where the industry is at IHRSA at this moment in time compared to kind of, where it's come from and where it's going?
Interesting. The feedback was last year was really soft, because a lot of persons were still, you have to sign up for a show 6-9 months in advance. And so that time period was still everybody, there was so much uncertainty. So last year it felt still like we're in between. This year it feels now from both customers, operators as well as suppliers. Everybody was feeling really like, okay, this is the moment again to restart. If restart is maybe too big of a word, but feeling like, okay, it's a new start after a 3-year of crappy period, and really have the time now to renew the industry. The good news is, if there's one good thing from the crisis, is that customers realized, whoa, who was hit hardest during the crisis? The ones that were not fit. And they realized, everybody, I need to be well. So well-being is having a much more higher priority than it has ever been in the past.
Right. And when you and if you also translate that to businesses, so we know certain consumers have been hit hard and not hit hard. What sort of businesses do you think have been hit harder than others in general? I'm not asking for specific names or groups, but how would you describe?
No, good question. So what you see, the operators that had a much older population have been hitting harder because of the concern to come back, where the younger population immediately started because they were so tied up that they couldn't work out, that when the gyms opened, they were just like, oh, paradise. I still remember I got so many interviews where people were asking, is there still a place for a gym? And I said, really? Because this was all about the Peloton hype and all of that. And I said, guys, the gym is not an old school model. Now, do the gyms need to translate what happened to see, can we come to I call it a well-being ecosystem where they work out in the gym as well as at home and try to find a formula. So home is not a competitor. You need to embrace an opportunity to see, okay, this is your well-being ecosystem. The other group that is being hit harder is the boutique studios in the beginning. They found it a bit more challenging. And then also the Group X. You know, even, I don't know if in each country already, in the past you had like 40 group cycling bikes in a room, and now you still have 20 or maybe 25 because of the space that is still being required. So those were the three things that I would mention are being hitting hard.
Introducing the next big thing in functional training, the Escape Barrow, a revolutionary training tool that combines a loaded farmer's carry with a sled push to develop hip, grip, and core strength. Developed in partnership with Pete Holman, inventor of the TRX Rip Trainer and Nautilus Glute Drive, the Escape Barrow can be rolled, pushed, dragged and carried. The Escape Barrow packs a punch with an impressive load capacity of 440 pounds, and with a two-stage galvanized paint covering process, it's also ideal for outdoor use. So head over to escapefitness.com/barrow. That's escapefitness.com/barrow to find out more. Enjoy the rest of this episode.
And what are you seeing as it relates to changes on the gym floor? Again, we're hearing a lot of things in terms of trends going into and coming out of the pandemic in terms of how people are laying out gyms. What, from your perspective, what are you seeing as some of the significant ones?
I think it is also translated into, you know, you always need to be open to change and think about who is your member, who is your customer. And the customer base has changed. Not because other people come to the gym, no. The whole world has changed. There's now more Gen Z coming in. The millennials take a bigger portion. Baby boomers get a bit older. So based on that, what we have seen is, and that's maybe also because of COVID, that people were doing workouts at home. They didn't have 20 treadmills and 30 cross trainers and bikes, so they were using dumbbells, watching content online and learning how to do that. So what we see is the traditional cardio space has become a bit smaller. The selectorized space has become a bit smaller. Plate loaded, free weights areas have grown, and functional. Those are the areas where you can see. Now, the opposite is, I was at a operator, I will not mention a name, but they put so much effort into, so much square meters into that functional space, and then you walk in, for example, at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it was completely empty. And then I'm thinking like, wow, that's a lot of square meters where you don't make money. So you need to find that balance between the more traditional area and the more newer area. The other thing that we see is the younger population. I can only say in my period, I still do an hour on a bike because I love that, and I watch CNBC and I get my stock market updates and all of that. That's not going to happen with a Gen Z or a millennial. They just want to have a 10-minute quick hit workout, in and out, and then go to strength. So you also see a bit of that change. So that's why you saw our performance series is also tailored toward more that younger population that wants to have just 5-10 minutes really going deep and then going into the more strength areas.
Right, so my last question, I was chatting to your Australian distributors and he was like super excited. He said this is more products than we've had for years. What's the product that or product category you're most excited about?
Which isn't. No. I would say the general concept of all of our product lines are all about how do you create a best customer experience. So it's not really, is it this line or that? No, really thinking through how do you create better customer experience? Because our industry, if you look at retention rates or attrition, if you are a bakery and you have the same retention rates, you won't run a bakery very long, correct? And we are still more a sales-driven model versus a retention-based model. But so it's really about how do you create truly customer experiences, but also unique experiences. So this gym is different than this gym. And so what I think is really, where I'm really proud of is that those bespoke options that we are offering to really understand, that's why we also say in that corner, you can upload your own content because there is so much content available online. Right now, why would you pay for content if it's all for free? So what we do, what's more important, is it's your brand, your way. Because the operators, think about it, if you have an instructor that you like and enjoy working with, that instructor should be able to get their own classes. It's not a Les Mills class or whoever class or a live fitness class or somebody else's class. It's their class with their instructor that has that connection with the member. And that's where I believe that creates a much higher level of customer engagement.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Frank.
Congratulations, very impressive,
Okay.
amazing. We'll
Thank
see you at
you.
FIBO.
Okay.
So it feels like the industry's back. Please tell us, how's your experience been at IHRSA so far, and what are some of the things we can look forward to from Precor?
Yeah. I mean, it's been great the last 2 days. The excitement in our booth has been phenomenal. The energy. We're showing our brand new consoles, some of our new strength equipment that we haven't seen. We haven't been here for 3 years, so exciting to be back and just seeing a number of people that are attending. And I can tell you, talking with customers, they want us to win from a Precor standpoint, which makes us all feel good. Our sales teams have nothing but great conversations and just really looking to see Precor being back. And so, you know, we're now focused on our business. We've been obviously under the ownership of Peloton for the last couple of years, and there's been a little bit of confusion of who we are. We're separating ourselves, complete different business units, and now it's all about where we're going. Precor, focused on Precor. So
Well, that's great.
yeah.
Yes, of course, everyone's been following the headlines.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I think we're all a part of the industry, so it's affecting us all. So
Yeah.
what can you say that we're looking forward to with Precor? Like, what are you seeing now that you're sort of cut free and you can sort of start afresh?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here 5 weeks, so I got a lot of work to do. But
Should we tell you?
Yeah. But I mean, first and foremost is just getting everyone back and knowing that, you know, we're really just focused on our brand and really the customer base that has been established for decades.
Right.
And so that's first and foremost. We had meetings with our Asia Pacific customers starting last week up in our Woodinville offices. They came down here then to the IHRSA show, meeting with Latin America customers, meeting with Middle East customers. I mean, it's just all over. Of course, the U.S. customers, all North America, and it's just the excitement of everyone just feeling good that one of the main brands in the space is really back. And so it's just so exciting for that.
And it's been a rough ride, and I think
Yeah.
we're all feeling that, and it's going to be a little bumpy for the next few months, but we're going to come out strong.
Yeah.
Just speaking of strong, strength in the financial panel yesterday was one of the big things. So Pilates and strength. So tell us a little bit about your play in that area of strength. How are you investing there?
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of work to do on our product side. I mean, for the last 4 or 5 years, we haven't invested heavily because of the changes in ownership and COVID and different effects. We haven't been able to really invest there. So I would say if you look at our product portfolio against our competition, we're probably down, 20-30% of product categories than others. And so we've got to, get our business right sized. We got to look at where we need to invest in. We got to prioritize our product roadmap and really look at, where we can, really bring back into market the quickest. I mean, and so, it could be technology. We know strength is a huge category that's growing. Cardio is shrinking, and the club operators are telling us they're taking more and more cardio out, giving us this more functional space. There's this whole recovery space. How do we want to play in that? So strategically, we've got a lot of things to think about and figure out where we're going, and we'll be doing that over the next few months as I'm actually bringing on a whole new executive team that'll be coming into place. And as that comes out, we'll be sending out information on the new people and how we're going to be structured and so on and so forth. So, we're excited about it, but yeah, a lot of work to do.
Great. From a search perspective, I think there'll be quite a few people just hearing that and going, right, where do they send their resumes to?
Yeah.
That wasn't a joke.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a funny story. So yesterday someone said, I'm very interested in coming on with you guys. I said, yeah, so was 100 other people that come up to me.
So where for those of you listening who don't know about you, so where have you come from, and what has your previous experience done to set you up for what is not an easy role, I guess?
Yeah, well, I actually started in the industry 30 years ago, primarily on actually the consumer side with Bowflex. And for about first 10 years of my career, I was on that side. And then we started acquiring commercial fitness companies, Nautilus, Stairmaster, Schwinn, out of bankruptcies. So I'm used to turning broken companies around, things that they've struggled for various reasons. And then eventually that business is broke off, become a consumer business versus a commercial business. In 2009, I became the CEO of Stairmaster, and then started putting Stairmaster and Schwinn, head to owner by Star Trek, and then Nautilus. And now, obviously, if you see Core Health and Fitness, that was actually a business that was actually structured underneath me, with the owner of actually Michael Bruno is the money man behind that. I can't take credit for any of the money put behind it, but how it's structured and how it's built, all executives rolled up into me. And so I've been in the industry. I've basically taken companies that have not very performed very well.
Like, you are the funnel.
Yeah, not necessarily performed as well as they could have, and kind of bring them back to life. So,
and I guess you've been here, I suppose, introducing a lot of your role and people to the new Precor. But for people who haven't had chance to sort of hear about what you're doing, like, how would you talk to some of your customers about some of the things that you're going to be focusing on in the sort of short to medium term in terms of Precor?
Yeah, I think first of all, from the outside, I think we do a very good job of really taking care of our customers and everything. But from the inside, we haven't invested a lot in our people, our systems, and our processes. And we got to do a lot of things internally. So as we actually start growing again and getting back the market share we kind of lost in the last few years, that we're able to really make sure that comes with profitability. So we've got to really focus on growing our business profitable. And I will tell you this, you'll never hear me say that we're going to be $1 billion organization. I don't get a reward if we hit $1 billion. I don't think there's going to be a banner up here on the wall that says we're going to be $1 billion. We're going to grow the right way, and we got to grow where we're making money and we're having fun, and we're investing in with our customers, and we got to focus on our customer base. So.
Right. And then final question, based on some of the conversations you've had here today, like, what would you say is the pulse of the industry? How are people feeling at the moment that are at IHRSA today? Are they positive about the year ahead, optimistic? Like, how would you assess the general feeling of things?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I talked to several customers that actually said, in a lot of their areas, their business, they said COVID was kind of a godsend, if you can believe it or not. They said, you know what, we had to rethink about our business. We were actually struggling a little bit, maybe before COVID, and that just put a spotlight right on it and said, okay, we need to lay it out differently. We need to analyze the business differently, and they're coming out stronger. So I see the companies that have made it through the tough times actually excelling now, growing faster, having larger members. And for manufacturers, how do we fit into that? So we're trying to figure out, as the space gets changed from creating more functional work versus the traditional cardio, and how we fit into that, and how we can help members grow their businesses. It's all upon us, but the excitement's there. You can see it with the amount of people that have attended. It's been meaningful conversations. It's not just been passing by and saying, hey, nice to see you again, but it's really, how can we operate and work closer together? We sell, all these guys sell globally, and we got to think globally, and internationally should be 50% of all of our others business, just because of market size. So you got North America, of course, is the largest singular market, but we got to think about the global fitness market as well. And so for myself, that's one of the big areas of change in our business is all of our leadership has a role on a global scale, not just a regional.
Fantastic. Well, good luck in your new role. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Cheers,
Thank
Dustin.
you. As always, beautiful Technogym booth. Congratulations. And you have a new position here in the United States, CEO for Technogym.
Correct. Yeah, started in January as CEO for the US.
Oh, great. Well, I'm sure you have a big remit. What do you see? I mean, you're coming out of a pandemic. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Technogym's been doing a lot of things, getting more people moving, always innovating in technology as well as the product.
Yeah.
What do you see in the future?
So for us, it's really that we're seeing a lot of personalization happening, and this is really something that is right up our alley. Innovation is part of our DNA, obviously, and for us, the biggest part is really bringing the equipment and the digital ecosystem together. So really have those two marry up for a superior customer experience and helping our club operators here as well, of course, in monetizing this and upping up their digital strategy.
How are you building that into an experience? Because I know about BioCircuit and things. How many different experiences do you create? How do you look at the world? Because I hear people that are Technogym customers and they say you don't talk about products, you talk about a whole experience.
Exactly right. Yeah, the products are more the enablers, right? Like that's almost a table stake. Customers expect the best products. Best design, best quality, really thought out product all the way down to the details. For us, it's really about the digital ecosystem, creating an open platform that allows operators to integrate their software solutions, but also allows our users to connect their wearables or software solutions that they're using personally to really bring those two together.
Right, that's great. I mean, Italian brand, how are you adapting to the US market? Because I'm a Kiwi, I've lived here for 9 years. It's a different beast. How do you do that from Italy?
100%. So it's all about trends, creating the experience and not just localizing it. So we're really looking at bringing product to market that is really fit for purpose for the U.S. market, for the U.S. consumers. So, our new Universe functional strength system you see here, for instance, is one of those examples that was designed and executed to the exact specifications and targets of some of the best functional and strength trainers in the market, specifically targeting the U.S. as an example.
Right, great.
What is the pulse of the conversations that you've been having here today? Like, how would you describe the sentiment in terms of a lot of your clients that are on the booth?
Yeah, it's been positive. I mean, like throughout all the conversations the last day and a half, it just the energy is back. Post-COVID. Operators are coming out that they want to expand. I heard so many club operators talk about how their space isn't enough anymore. That they have almost too many new members come. Like they want to amp up their client experience, understand how they can upsell. Secondary sales within their club. So very, very positive notion, I would say, right now in overall atmosphere.
How do you feel where do you think the industry is in terms of recovery? And I know you cover a number of different channels, but today it's predominantly a lot of the commercial sector.
Yeah.
So how would you sort of, in your own personal view, assess where we are today in terms of recovery? Have we got where we need to be? Are we still got a little way to go? If so, how long do you think that will take?
So what we're seeing is we didn't stop even during COVID. We kept innovating. We kept working on product, new innovation, digital especially. That was obviously a big push during COVID. I think we're in a pretty good spot. If I compare our business to pre-COVID, we're in a better spot now, I would say, especially here in the U.S. than we were pre-COVID. And we keep growing, and we see this again. The sentiment here, what we're bringing to market right now is falling on very receptive ears, I would say, and really helps the club operators to step up their game and really partner with us, but also on the consumer, on the user side, really to bring new innovation, meaningful innovation to the market that is exactly what they're looking for.
We've definitely heard a lot about there being a change in terms of the gym floor. Some of these changes started prior to the pandemic, but they seem to have accelerated.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what do you see some of the significant changes in terms of customer demand, the operators?
Yeah. So two things, digital. So very, very much focused on an integrated ecosystem experience with smart connected equipment, such as BioStrength, what we talked about before. The other big one is strength, of course, like very, very strong push for strength. We're launching, actually, the first time we're showing these to the public, 2 new items here on our pure strength lineup. So this is definitely something that is here to stay, that really speaks to the consumer need coming out of COVID and an overall industry trend right now.
So where have you come from prior to, have you been in Technogym previously before taking this new role?
No, I joined Technogym in July last year. I was in Italy for a few months for onboarding. My background is in the consumer space, D2C, B2B2C consumer space, and then fast-moving premium brand product.
So what would you say, like in your role, some of the key things that you'll be, I guess, areas of gravity that you need to think about in terms of, taking Technogym forward in the USA?
Yeah, I think it's twofold. Number one, we have to be maniacally focused on the consumer and customer experience, and this is something that we're working very, very hard on. So any touch point that the consumer might have with our brand, be it online, be it offline, be it when they reach out to our call center or engage with our sales team, has to be 100% on brand and super focused on the experience and very, very customer-centric. So that is one very strong push for us right now as an organization. What goes hand in hand with that on the operator side is to be focused on also on the after-sales service experience. So really making sure that it's a coherent experience for the consumer across the board, not just the design, the quality, which are table stakes with Technogym, but also looking at after-sales at service to really make sure that we deliver on our brand promise here.
Fantastic. Well, look, thank you very much. Good luck in your new role. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Recovery, one of the #1 trends in fitness right now. We've got another star here at Hyperice, one of the leaders in the space here. So what's going on here? There's been a lot of activity. It's been a very busy booth for the last couple of days. Tell us, what's the brand up to? We've got a few new things here, so tell us about it.
Absolutely. So, if you look back, IHRSA 2 years ago, we were just showing our products, and now we just did full recovery zone. So this is like a prototype of what every gym fitness studio is looking at. They're like, oh, I was building it out a couple years ago, and now they're coming back in and saying, I got to add a couple more products in. And just psychologically, knowing that these are the leaders in the space that are coming in, intuitively grabbing the products that they know how to use. A couple years ago, we had to say, here's how you turn it on, this is why it's beneficial. Everything for us has been experience. So for us, it's like getting back to experience, in-person community around it. So it's been packed here in the space.
Right, so tell us about some of the products. What are the most popular now? Like what's trending now? What's coming?
So for us right now, the Hypervolt's right now on the wall box and the charging stations for us. Okay. So going back to people can grab those. The Hypervolt 2 Pro, our most high-end version. Trainers are using that as an add-on service, adding into the stretch. So the stretch labs are using it as that part. And customers are going back away with what they're prescribed with their Go version from us. So we have the premium part, and then we have the more accessible products that you're buying for at home, the Go line.
Right.
Still underrated is our Venom line. Okay. So it's our heat and vibration line. So our Venom back, people are adding in with the Normatec boots.
Normatec boots, very popular.
And it's people are not used to just being like this back device, and they go in and everyone's been buying that. And then they buy the Go version as well for their travel. So we're seeing a lot more people, because of the hospitality business growing again, they need that Go version.
So this is your version of hybrid, really, isn't it? It's like, this is where I go for a venue, an experience, and then I take it with me or travel with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, at the same time, we know with everyone hybrid, they're not going to one place anymore. No. But they still want to keep going back to prescribed what that wellness option is for them, wherever they go.
Right. So,
what's some of the markets that you're providing this to? Because I guess when you think about it, there's so many different places, like the workplace, the hotels, spas. It can fit into a lot of areas. So what are you seeing it being used, and what are the growth areas, would you say?
So if we rewind back to the beginning, starting the pro training rooms for us, backed by the top athletic trainers, sports medicine doctors for our products. From there, those trainers, which a lot of the fitness trainers in gyms were fans of and used a lot of their credibility, then started to integrate our products for the personal training side. Then boutique fitness, then we get into retailers like the Dick's Sporting Goods, the Best Buys, things like that. But then when you started to see hospitality grow, it was, our fitness gyms can't just have a couple treadmills instead of dumbbells anymore. So then they started to come to us saying, we want this wellness experience that they're getting at their gym when they're in their travel. So hospitality grew. Hospitality then opened up to spa. Massage therapists started using our products in service. From there, you still have your physical therapy and chiro. Now it's kind of almost preventative health care. Before I get to the point of an injury, I'm using our products. So now you see the space of, we're all calling it wellness now. but really the fitness community was the first to pioneer that. And so now you see that places like a Restore, a Pause Studio that are using our products and service. Normatec plus an IV drip now is what my health regimen is now, instead of just saying I work out 5 times a week. So that's where it's growing, is that this preventative health care that we're seeing with our products, and we're working with a lot of experts to test it out of how that can be beneficial, mainly with the Normatec line. Just the compression itself is the most feel-good product, and really the amount of studies that have shown this for 20 plus years on that product is, now we're talking a lot on the medical side.
And what about the education on that? Because obviously when you put it on, you can feel nice, but from a, I guess, commercial perspective, how are you educating people about the benefits and that kind of thing?
So, is a type of massage, which when you were talking about it, we're able to discuss it. It's the soft tissue that we're talking about within the body. This is one of the most important things that you need to focus on. For any doctor is going to tell you that hydration and movement and sleep, but they're not focusing on anything of how often are you getting your massages in, how often are you getting your mobility work in to prevent injury, and that comes down to soft tissue. So this is a type of massage that is compressing the soft tissue of the body in a synchronous way. And then what that's doing is that it's increasing the circulation, or it's reducing swelling. So we see a lot of people pre and post-op using this for prehab with it.
Right, and how do you get that out to people?
So we can say, cool, read the studies.
Yeah.
But the best way is for getting people to try and experiencing it.
Yeah.
So really, it's all it is for us. Is the best part is working with our clients. We're setting up a pilot or a program. We say 15 minutes before you're going in for your service or your training, or 20 minutes post, or you're doing this 3 times a week. So as soon as you program it, we're noticing a difference, and you can prove that with someone's improved range of motion, someone's less in pain, someone is coming in more fitness training, X amount more times.
Right. So there's a new device I can see here. Tell us a little bit about this one.
We were very excited about this. So back in 2020, we acquired this company, Core. Founder Sarah McDevitt went back to Stanford for her master's in education. She wanted to teach students how to focus better in a 55-minute class. High school students, which are pulling up their phone, not focusing. She gave them all a piece of Play-Doh. Why she did that is because even just physically and psychologically holding something can help you to focus more and being in the moment. This iterated and iterated to making this device, this is on average what most people were holding the Play-Doh like this. What this is doing is that it is vibrating when you're listening to a guided meditation or breathwork training, which is what I'm most excited about personally. And then it is taking your heart rate in real time. What that does is that it's going to show you your heart rate variability. Studies have proven when you are following a breathwork training or meditation of some kind, your heart rate variability will increase, meaning your variability to get back down to a sympathetic state is better. What that means, you know how to reduce your stress better. So we're basically working on a physiological way of improving it. Seemed like people are like, what? You're getting into meditation? We're not in the content space. We're always hardware driven first. We wanted something that, because we know, as we all know in the fitness industry, mind and body connection is how people can perform better. We need to think about the times when you're sleeping, when you're not working out all the time, but when you're recovering. So we're seeing a lot of people actually using this device when they're in the Normatec boots. Right. So instead of you just on your Instagram or emailing, what are you doing for your mind at the same time? This has been really great, actually, starting out in D1 schools. So a lot of the student athletes are using this. Athletic trainer says, get your phone out of your hand. I don't want you on Instagram. You're doing your 30 minutes of Normatec for your legs. You need to do that for your mind. And then, so it's going to be going more in sports performance, and you'll see it more in fitness in the next 18 months, I would say.
I love it, because in a way you have created something tangible to reflect something intangible and internal and intrinsic, isn't it? Inside out, but actually putting that in a form that we can actually understand that.
And doing it in a way, this is no knock to, like, there are different methodologies of meditation. We didn't want to be the woo-woo route.
Right.
We wanted something, like, for all of us so data-driven now.
Right.
This device, I mean, we have tracks with Chris Hemsworth and Naomi Osaka.
Right.
We partnered with Center on it to provide those, because we wanted people like, no, they want the coach feeling like you're in fitness, but you need to prioritize this just like you do the exercises you're doing for your body.
And everyone wants to be like Thor, right?
I
And
know,
is that a commercial or consumer-based product?
More consumer-based product right now. But again, like all of our other products, you need an experience in a commercial setting to really understand the benefit of our product. I think we can show that digitally, we can market it as much as we want, but until someone is providing experience like here at IHRSA, then it'll really stick, and then the consumer's buying it for home, or our partners are then retailing it, creating experience, and then they're selling it to the final consumer.
Fantastic. Well, Star, thank you very much. I need to get one of those.
So do I. Add to your list.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
So another one of the great trends here is beauty, recovery. We've got Brynn with us, who's representing the United States. Tell us a little bit about this concept, and where is it going to fit in the fitness industry, do you think?
Absolutely. So we've been working together with IHRSA for a long time now, but we're so excited to see not only the show come back in full force after COVID, but this trend towards automated wellness and the amenities that go with that form a perfect marriage with fitness, right? You either want to recover pre or post-workout, you want to relax pre or post-workout, and then do that in a way that makes sense and is convenient for operators. So what we've offered this year is a few different type of applications. What is behind me is a red light application. We also have dry water massage for like a fully immersive type of relaxation experience that you can combine with your workout, or tanning if that's what you decide to do as well. So a lot of different options that really make it easy for operators to add high value amenities in
So
their
this is
space.
an add-on. We pay a little bit more money and I have these services either as part of my membership or as a case-by-case, right, as a casual. Is
Exactly.
that right?
It's what we say, to either cast a wider net for operators or to go deeper in that membership value space to capitalize a few extra dollars on every membership. So it's the decision that makes itself.
Okay.
From an amenity
Do they have to
perspective.
purchase, or can they hire, or like what is the model, the business model?
A little bit of both. So we're capital investment equipment for sure, but we do work with financing partners on a very regular basis to be able to make it accessible.
So the recovery, we've had a number of conversations about this. It's a big word. It's like what they used a few years ago as the functional training. Everybody kind of straps it onto something. But it does seem as though what you're doing actually has a meaningful solution. So if you break down what you're seeing, I guess as an expert in terms of some of the key treatments, I'll call them, in this recovery space. I've done the red light therapy a number of times and tried to understand that. And I did actually get some quite interesting results specifically for my back. So break down the individual items and the ones that you feel, if someone wants to get involved in it, that are worth exploring and trying to learn more about.
Absolutely. So we bring an expertise of over 30 years in manufacturing to the table. So we know what operators are expecting from a quality perspective. They need equipment that's going to operate consistently without breaking down and with a low price point per session, so that it's not complex for them to bring in an entirely new system. So we are looking specifically for modalities like red light or like dry water massage that then marry together in a high value space. So when you're talking about effect, you're saying, how can I easily add this onto a workout, 10 or 15 minutes, that people will come back for it. Not just a not a one-time hit to say, oh yeah, that might be interesting once, but it makes sense as a part of my routine week after week after week, because that's what continues to keep the membership flowing week after week. Same thing with dry water massage. It's a guaranteed 15, 20-minute nap. And who doesn't need that, right? Where you go in and you've got this kind of me time guaranteed. And with the positive effect of relaxation, aromatherapy, and an effective massage. So being able to bring that in from a high quality perspective that's not complex, that says I need a full explanation from a person walking into a room with me, that is a real barrier to entry for operators, right? Because we're all trying to solve the employee problem. We're all trying to solve that issue of, well, there's only one person at the counter. How do I make that happen in my amenity space and make it repeatable at the same time?
Is that the automation part of the way you describe it?
Absolutely.
So how would you, like in terms of people to run this sort of stuff, how would that look operationally then?
So there's a couple of different ways that we try to keep it simple, right? These are pretty much self-operational. You can either do quick start guide or NFC. So when you go in for a massage, your settings can be fully remembered. And so it remembers you from one session to the next. So all you have to do is swipe a card, and you can, or key fob if you have a membership, and get right back on the well system and have a remembered session. Similar to the Beauty Angel, it gives you an easy upsell for either skincare or some type of recovery product that you can use in a session here. And you just jump right in a session, and it's fully autonomous. And then with tanning as well. Tanning has been pretty self-explanatory for a long time. People know what to expect, and they've gone there for a purpose. And so now we've combined that with other types of light technologies to be able to reduce the amount of UV that's necessary to get a great tan.
Right.
And so we want to make lifetime customers, not short-term customers over a short period of time. So that's really where we're investing in the technology.
Red light, from what I understand, there's a number of different types of red light, and they do different things. What is your one, and how is it different or better or comparable with everything else that's out there?
So what's interesting about our equipment is that you have about 1,000 to 1,050 hours of lamp life on our equipment, so it's incredibly effective and it runs long term. There's different spectrums of red light, of course, right? You've got the low end spectrum, which is around 630 to 650 nanometers, near infrared and far infrared. So we stay in the red light spectrum space with the vibra-shaped floor as well. So those two things are
What's that? What's
together.
the vibra-shaped floor?
Vibra-shaped floor basically means that you're on a vibration plate or vibra plate training while you're being exposed to red light. And essentially it creates blood flow or oxygenation to the skin to make the red light more effective during a session.
Simultaneous hybrid.
Exactly. It's like priming
Automated.
before you paint a wall.
Yeah.
Right? You're getting both at the same time.
Right.
So I had this, I was trying this Precor Blue, which you kind of take on your tongue, and they were encouraging you to have red. Do you know about that?
I do,
The red light therapy, because it's meant to sort of bring it out.
I think that makes us fringe, but yeah, I do know about it. I think so.
So tell us about how red light would link with that, just my own personal interest.
Yeah, he always does this. He always goes on a tangent.
I'm thinking about like the combination of nutraceuticals and light therapy and how you would make the whole process. Yeah, I'm all in the adaptogenic space. We were just talking about that a minute ago. I'm like, if I put mushrooms on my body, will it make it more efficient? I'm here with you. I understand. I think it's the difference between ingesting that type of product and then putting it on your skin. But what happens here, just like we were saying about skincare, when you're bringing oxygen and light to the surface of the skin and opening pores, you're making skincare or whatever you're putting on your body that much more efficient from an absorption perspective. So whether that's an anti-aging product, whether that's a magnesium recovery product that you're putting on your skin while you're in a session, it's just that much quicker from an absorption or transdermal perspective.
And what about the one, I had this, I laid down on what looked like a sunbed, and it was helping with my lower back. What was that? Was that the same sort of thing as you guys have got here? And I don't know what it did or how it did it, but it definitely seemed to ease. They said it would reduce some of the inflammation on there.
Yeah, well, there's a lot that vitamin D can do for you that we have to be careful saying when it comes to medical claims. So we can't make any medical claims about our equipment, so we're strictly in the wellness space, of course. But when it comes to what vitamin D really actually does functionally, there's podcasts that other people should be listening to and giving other than myself. But there's really a lot when it comes to just vitality and the hormone release that's coming from vitamin D that is going to help with aches and pains. It's going to help make you feel better, look better, take away the SADs, those types of things. But as far as specific aches and pains with UV, I'm not really sure what that would I would have to do to know what the product is.
Okay, that's fine. Well, thank you very much. I'd like to have one of these.
Yeah.
If you're doing any show specials, like, you know.
Let's give them the pink one.
Exactly.
Go with the shoes.
Yeah, we would love for you guys to take a test drive if you have a minute or two.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. But thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely.
All right, great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we've got three massive trends happening here. We've got mind-body trend, we've got partnerships trend, and we've also got Pilates trend. So tell us what's going on. Introduce yourself and your businesses, and how did you come together?
Thank you, Emma. I'm Stacey with Soulbody Fitness.
I'm Jesse Campanero with Total Gym.
And we've just put our partnerships together. We're talking about programming, and we're talking about machines and equipment. And Soulbody does programming. Total Gym, they've been doing equipment for a really long time, so it just was a partnership that made sense. Us bringing their education on our online platform and creating content, filming content for the user, for the studios, the gyms that are buying these beautiful pieces of equipment. Pilates, you know, all the mind-body style workout is training smarter, not harder, is really, really popular. People are starting to understand how to work their bodies.
So Jesse, you've been in the equipment game a very long time. So started off with infomercial, right?
Yeah.
I mean, take us through that journey. Where are we now? Who's this for?
Well, we're here at Total Gym, and we've been in the industry for over 40 years.
Nearly.
Yeah, I was born here, literally. And we know what we're good at. We're good at creating a great workout experience through excellent, unique equipment that uses your body weight against gravity to drive the resistance. And so the partnership with Soulbody is fantastic because we needed to help solve a problem in the gyms, which is how do we scale new trainers? How do we give those trainers solutions to be successful with our great equipment? And Soulbody's the answer for us because they're great at programming and education, and we're great at making great equipment and great workout experiences.
Have you seen an uptick since pandemic? Because we're seeing Pilates just skyrocketing.
We are, yeah. We've seen a huge uptick, and it's interesting because when originally we didn't even know we could do Pilates, to be honest. And people came to us and they're like, your machine is magic for Pilates, right? And it's different. We use gravity in your body weight rather than springs. So it's a little different modality, but it really is something that people can fall in love with and have a great workout experience. And most importantly, we can help them change their lives. And our mission is to help millions of people get healthier. And we're doing it every day through our products and programs. And now in partnership with Stacey and Soulbody, we get to help improve that experience and give operators a solution so that they can scale the business as well.
Right, love it.
What in terms of trends then, you mentioned Pilates, it's been around for a long time, but there's definitely, I guess, seeing that Pilates kind of movement done in a number of sort of different ways, like there's bar and there's Pilates and there's yoga. And there seems to be, certainly some of the people I've been speaking to over the last few days, there seems to be this kind of new category where boutiques are putting some of these modalities together that are delivering that sort of thing. So talk a little bit about, for people who are listening, like what's this trend? How do you define it? And what does Pilates and yoga and bar all have in? Tell us about that story.
You're really touching on something, and we were talking about that with a number of clients that were coming by. If you can diversify your offerings, you've got so much more going on. So think about a yoga studio. They've got yoga. But when you add Pilates, you add something like this reformer. I mean, the fold-up capacity of these apparatuses is beautiful. You fold it up so smoothly, put it against the wall. You have your yoga, you have your Pilates mat class. You pull it out, you have 6 to 8 apparatuses in your studio. There you have something else to add. So it's diversifying your offerings within your studio. And in the gyms, we see it a lot. They're doing a lot of renovations in the mind-body space, turning certain areas into the mind-body, recovery, things like that. So that space needs to be occupied. Talk about diversification, you've got it right there.
The recovery space that people are talking about and figuring out, like everyone knows recovery is important. Everyone knows that we probably pushed HIIT training and pushing ourselves to the limit very, very hard. And now there's this kind of balance against that. But I also sense that people are struggling to build that into a solution and communicate it to the market. So how do you see, for people that are thinking about how to put that together, how do you see what you guys are doing to create a story around that? Because it definitely seems as though it's more in that, you have a workout day where you blast yourself and then you come and do the other stuff. As I get older, I'm stretching more, which I never used to do. So what is that? How can you tell that story to people who are thinking about?
So from our perspective, we came from recovery. Our heritage is physical therapy and taking people from post-op knee surgery and teaching them how to get back to function and back to health. So there's kind of two parts of recovery. There's the wellness side of recovery, which would be like cryo and red light therapy and all these really great things that people are doing to recover their body. On ours, the whole workout experience has recovery inside of it because we're using your body weight as the resistance to lengthen and strengthen your muscles. So you're getting stretching while you're getting stronger. You're getting function, you're getting balance while you're getting stronger. And at the end of the day, recovery is not always about just healing or letting the body rest. It's about training the body in the right way from the beginning. so that we're not deteriorating our joints. Or
So you're
deteriorating our
integrating
body.
modalities really, rather
We
than
are.
segregating them and saying today's a strength day, today's an endurance day, today's a recovery day. You're sort of doing it at the same time, right?
You are, and you can, don't get me wrong, you can have a strength workout and moment on the product, or a Pilates mind-body workout on our product, but the nature of it, because you're using your body weight, like a dancer or like a gymnast, right? You're gonna build long, lean, flexible muscles. And that alone is gonna help you move better in life. It's gonna help prevent you from getting injured. Or if you do get injured, you have an apparatus now that can help you get back to function, help you get back in shape.
But we're also looking at too, you can say recovery, rehabilitation, it's also maintenance. And that's really important. I mean, we're working our bodies, we're moving our bodies. We want to maintain.
That's why we're
our
all
bodies.
35 years old.
Right? I'm the youngest 35-year-old, you know.
No, I get it. It's great.
Yeah.
And in the education side, is that part of how you do? Because I guess when you say Pilates, it seems to be quite niche, and it's like, okay, I don't need to do Pilates, but I guess what I've understood from here is like when you use the word sort of recovery or the non-workout day, you can see how this would be a reason to go in to whatever facility and do one of these sessions. As opposed to doing some kettlebells.
And also deceptively difficult. Like I know a lot of guys, particularly, they'll go, oh, it doesn't look like much, get on. And it's like, I don't know what my body's doing. I can only do one. Why am I quivering? Right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, think about the coordination it takes just to move your body. Again, I use the analogy of a dancer, like a ballerina, or of a gymnast, right? Some of the most functional athletes out there that can move their bodies in ways that are impossible for others. We can make some of that training modality accessible to anyone at any fitness level. Right? So Mrs. Jones can come in for the first time, never doing any workout before, and feel safe and comfortable on the machine and get a great, effective workout. And so can Mr. Bodybuilder, right? Who's going to come in and maybe look at it and be like, oh, that's maybe not so easy. And then we show him some really good exercises that challenge core stability and challenge your ability to move effectively. And it can be quite good.
Yeah, right.
Well, look, thanks, guys.
Thanks for your time. Congratulations on the relationship, and let's go. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Dave Wright. Woo! Myzone. Now, we had
a rose between two thorns.
A rose between two thorns. We had a fabulous hot breakfast, as we always do at these main events, and you dropped a lot of product. You were given a lot of money, and then you dropped a lot of product. Why don't you start there?
Hey, look, we had an awesome launch. We've got a whole array we've launched a new VO2 Max test, which is built into the app. Audited by Loughborough University, world's first, got the patent on it, based on the actual intensity zones. VO2 Max helping operators and members track what the outcomes of what they're doing. So that was the first thing.
How will you?
So the way you do it, so typically when you do a VO2 Max test, you'd go on a treadmill and it would increase in incline or speed. What we've done is we've basically done this based on your intensity. So you go from grey to blue zone to green zone to between 80 and 85%, which is sort of like the yellow zone, and we've got a specified zone, and then we have a 2-minute recovery. We've done an algorithm that determines your VO2 max.
So it's a sub-max VO2 max.
Sub-max VO2 that can be done on a treadmill, exercise bike. It can be done on a cross trainer, any machine. It can be done outside.
With your current belt?
With your Myzone device, heart rate monitor.
Okay.
So it's a world first, and so it's really, really cool.
But that's not all.
That is not all. But there is more. But there is more. So what we also did is we've also launched a premium app for operators. So we have MZ Clubs. So if a club's got their own videos, they can actually go onto the platform. They can deliver their own virtual classes to their existing members and the people at home. If someone's got a Myzone device on, they can log on. They can actually be on the screen from home or in the club, and people in the club at home, with the MZ Club. We've also launched MZ Together, where we deliver 30 classes, live classes on behalf of clubs and their network. So if a club wants to sit there and go, hey, we've got 5 classes in the morning, we can deliver that for you.
So what's the stuff on my Myzone? I see these classes come up when I work out. Is that the stuff that you guys?
Yeah, that's what we've been on the Test Pro. Okay. So that's MZ together. So people can exercise together no matter where they are around the world. Then the next one we've also launched is MZ On Demand. So we've got 1,300 videos so that a club can actually deliver this without having to do a thing. onto their actual timetable, and their members can actually work out. So, you know, you might be doing a insanity class at home basically, and you'd have it on the TV, and then you have your Myzone, you know, phone on the side to see your intensity. We've integrated your zone into the video, so you can actually see that. You broadcast that to a TV, so you've got the exercise, whether it's yoga, whether it's HIIT, whether it's cycling. As I said, we've got about 13.
Who does all those classes?
So
Is that you?
we've bought those. We've bought about 1,300 videos. So, and just a club can just switch those on, and they can actually have that feedback, which is really cool. We've also launched MZ Maps. MZ Maps, which is
Is that what we got sitting behind us?
So we've got
Zone colours.
yeah, exactly. So what with MZ Maps, what that means is that you can actually put your Myzone device on, go for a run outside, and when it comes back, you can actually see your map of where you've been and the Myzone zones that you did whilst you're doing.
Cool. So is that, do I get that with my one, or do you have to upgrade for that?
You'll have to upgrade for that.
Right. Do we get that for free though, as we've known you for a long time?
Oh well, Matthew,
And on then, are you a Hall of Famer? Are you a Hall of Famer?
I am. I'm not just a Hall of Famer, actually.
he is not just. He is a league above. He is a league
I'm
above.
like 3 steps above that, but
Yeah.
you know, I won't brag.
Yeah, that's enough about me talking about me. How about you talk about me for a while? And then the mic drop. The mic drop was MZ Open, and this is the ability that we are going to be opening up the Myzone, any wearable device, into the Myzone platform. So, and therefore, what you can do if you've got an Apple Watch or an Android watch, you can actually have your heart rate on the actual. So if you see that there, using the optical from the device. So through the Android, and that it's roughly about $2.99 a month, and it's called MZ Open. So you could. What we're doing is we're actually opening up the platform. Now we all know this is the caveat. What we know here is that 95% of all activity done in the gym is not relevant for the wrist or the forearm, even if you've got an MZ switch. Because if you swing a kettlebell, if you punch, if you sort of like do a Zumba or a Les Mills class, you want to make sure that you're wearing the Myzone chest strap. Right. Okay, so what this does is it complements. However, if you're going to go for a run outside, if you're going to go for a cycle, if you're going to go for a walk with the family, and you've got an Apple Watch or an Android or a Garmin or an Oura Ring or a Whoop, we can just switch that on, and so you get MEPS for it into the system.
Right.
And
So it's agnostic. But
agnostic.
Okay.
And also, if you're in the club, your tile can be on the screen.
Oh, stop the madness.
Like I would be dropping mics left, right, and centre. But the whole point about this is that you know what we decided. You know, we've got over 2.5 million users around the world in 9,500 various clubs and all this, and we hear this all the time of people going, I'm on my way to the gym or I've gone for a run and I left my Myzone device at home.
Yeah, I've done that.
Right, and we've all done that.
And we all go, that's it,
and therefore,
I'm stopping.
the workout did not exist. We all agreed that, you know, so no MEPS, no workout. So what this means is it just means that people go, hey, do you know what? I've got a smartwatch. Bang it on and press the button, and therefore you don't lose a MEP. So, and the whole thing for operators, right, is what this means is that there are so many dark holes in a member's journey in data. So there's too many, you know, the ultimate dark hole is swipe your membership card, that's all you know about them, right? Obviously, if you've got a Myzone, you know, chest strap or whatever, you get that data, but now we can help operators to say, okay, if you've got an Apple Watch and you're going to go for a run outside, or if you're going to be on the treadmill or whatever, why don't you just press the button? And what they're doing is that way you as an operator get that data. And that's a fundamental point. So, and then obviously it gets them into your ecosystem. That's the fundamental thing of what we did with Myzone when we first launched. Mm-hmm. We're a B2B for a C. So rather than saying send them off to Apple's platform, Garmin's platform, we're sending them into the actual operator's platform.
Right, love it.
Right, and so from there, so it actually complements a user's, you know, the operator's way to be able to get more people tracking their activity, making movement measurable, and that's that's a big
One
thing.
switch to rule them all, right?
I like that. I'm going to trademark that, baby. Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah, too late.
Too late.
Yes.
You'll
yes.
have to fundraise again so that you can pay me. So this is all very exciting. What next?
Well, so next time we have the breakfast, we're going to talk about and hopefully we'll have delivered it. No, I'm joking. No.
Does anyone have breakfast anymore? I sit there and I go, oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what we actually do with the breakfast, we put a great, wonderful Eggs Benedict picture, and we send that out there. All the tight asses from the industry go, oh, that looks nice, and then they rock up and there's shitty eggs, scrambled eggs, and all that. But no, hey, look, we had our breakfast. We had 95 people on the waiting list.
Amazing.
It was the largest gathering of CEOs in one room. Again, this is our 10th year that we've done it. Matt didn't turn up. He was far too important, or actually he didn't.
He was looking at his readiness score. What he was doing.
I wasn't invited.
He wasn't. He was on the waiting list.
No, he was on the waiting list. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but Emma was there. Yes.
Always there.
Yeah. So no, that was great. So we've got our big thing that we've launched is about we've taken on data scientists now.
Okay.
So this is where we think.
Is that how you've spent a lot of the money that you've raised?
Yeah, absolutely. So completely
outside the new villa in Spain.
Yeah, well. Completely redeveloped our tech stack so that way we can actually scale to a whole new level. But the fundamental thing is actually the data insights. We probably collect more biometric data than any organisation in the industry, right? We've got terabytes and terabytes of every single heartbeat of millions of people around the world in 92 different countries. So those insights, to be able to sort of really understand behaviour, exercise behaviour, whether it's inside, outside the facility, so hang on. The other thing we've introduced. No. This is a really cool. This is a really important one. MZ Blue Check, verified member. Okay, so we are introducing in the next couple of weeks. It's in beta right now. Is that if you're a Myzone user who has at least 10 connections, who likes and comments on at least 4 people in a month.
So a good citizen.
A good citizen, right? And they achieve the 1,300 MEPs. They get a blue tick, right? So they're a blue check if we're in America, a blue check, right? A blue check in America. So what this does is that means you've got an engaged person that is a part of your community. If a club gets to 100 blue check members, so to speak, they become a Myzone excellent centre of excellence. Because, and what that means is you've got at least 100, whether it's staff or whatever, 100 people that are really engaged, and because we have the data to say, if people like and comment on other people's workouts, they exercise 148% more than someone that doesn't. Oh. So, of course, we're going to try and encourage people to be, more engaging with other people, and so therefore it's going to really change. So that there, and the club doesn't have to do anything with that. Right. We literally just switch that on, and we've also introduced 2 other things I forgot as well. For the Myzone users out there, we've also introduced the ability to crop a workout.
That's right.
So if you sort of like put your belt on. And you've got and then a long bit of grey, and then all of a sudden you've had your workout, and so you've got the ability to crop all that redundant grey MEPs out, but also we're integrating proper social connection, so you can comment on a comment as you can in other platforms.
Oh, yeah,
I know. It's a bloody pain in the ass, but we're actually going to nail that so that you can actually, you can comment on a comment and like a comment and all this.
And if you do a hybrid workout, that can be tagged appropriately,
100%,
right?
that's
so
exactly
I do some
right.
boxing
Yeah,
and
that's
I do
quite cool.
Yeah, so you can actually tag it, and particularly, so if you're doing a particular class, sometimes what would happen is it would truncate the workout and cut it out and send it in 2 lots. So what we're doing is we're identifying and saying, okay, there you go, that was your Blaze class, that was your hybrid session, and all that. So it's just taking it to a whole new level of engagement and all that.
I just want to comment on one more thing, which I was really impressed by, and that is the advocacy. So you are getting politicians involved in a really real way. Because we can talk and we can lobby all day long and we can pay our money, but what are you doing across the world?
Oh yeah, for 3 years on the trot, we've had over 500 senators and House of Representatives doing a challenge. And then this year we had the UK Parliament do it, which was, we go that in November. We were just about to click go in October, and what happened in October? Boris Johnson was there, then Liz Truss was in. So it was a tumultuous time, so we didn't have as much uptake in the UK at the time.
It's been a great moment for leadership.
And one of the bloody adverts we were going to do was, "Are you fit to lead?" And we're like, seriously,
are you fit to lead?
Are you fit to lead? And we're just like, maybe we just
maybe not.
probably not.
Maybe not timing.
So we've done that, and then this year coming up, I'm going to do another one. So we've got our one at Washington DC, the fourth one, which will be in the next couple of months, and then the European Congress have agreed for us to do one for them, and we're doing this on behalf of the industry. So we just that's the whole
You're
big
such
the
a
big
nice
thing.
guy.
Well, we're trying to do what our piece for our part and all this, and but the plan is to actually do a Ryder Cup of physical activity with the MPs in Europe versus the MPs or senators and House in Washington DC.
Wow.
So they can have a Ryder Cup. And bear in mind, because MEPS are it's democratising exercise. Doesn't matter how fit or unfit you are. It's based on the effort rather than your fitness. So it's like a golf handicap on physical activity. So therefore, it's not like the, a step counter or something like that. It is literally, and so this is what they love about it. And they really can begin to lead. And if we can get on the inside and say physical activity is good for you, physical activity, fall in love with activity. Don't look at our industry as it's all you've got to be fit to actually go to a gym, or you've got to be fit to go and exercise. Let's try and sort of like get that going, and we can hopefully, I think rising tides lifts all boats. Absolutely. And we all benefit from it.
And we will find out once and for all which is the greatest country. Great Britain?
Gosh, I thought you paused before you put tree on the end of that. Did I hear that? Yeah, exactly. We can do that. Yeah.
So I've got a final question for you, Dave.
Yes, go.
So your position is about movement, and that's what you've done a great job at, and I've sort of moved a lot more as a result of it. There's this big move for recovery.
Yep.
Is that an area that you guys have decided, look, we're going to stay out of that because we're just about movement, or are you thinking in the future either partnerships or sort of building that into where your product pipeline is?
Look, there's the whole point of Myzone is help people feel good about exercise, right? And then the way that we can help that is recording the activity so that their community can motivate them to say, well done, you've exercised. Heart rate variability, parasympathetic, sympathetic, obviously that comes from heart rate. That is the stuff that we are going to be going into, that we can get that data. We can get that data. Recovery and relaxation is great. Of course it is. It's really good for elite athletes and all this. We are in an industry where 95% of the population don't achieve 150 minutes of moderate or 75 minutes of vigorous activity per week. Okay,
they're not moving.
So they're not moving. Yeah. So let's not get them to fucking recover yet. Let's get them to move.
Recover from recovering.
You're recovering from recovering and all this. So we've just got, in my opinion, and heart rate variability and all that is great, to a degree. Right.
Well, I guess the reason I ask that is, I suppose you can. There's different types of people, and you're right. There's a big chunk of people you've got to get moved, but there's also other people that come in. They do this burst. They probably burn themselves out, and it's getting that balance, I suppose. So that's more the direction I'm going with.
So corporate wellbeing, which is a strong thing that we have sort of like 4 or 5 big key. Obviously, commercial health clubs and is one. Corporate wellbeing is a massive one, and that's where the stress and the likes. Education, schools and education is another one where we have any school that's under the age of 18. It's free. There's no license fee with Myzone. That's our corporate social responsibility. We want to try and encourage the next generation of health club goers to fall in love with exercise, so that's why we do that for free. And also military. So you've got military, and we're in hundreds of bases around the world that actually want to do, but also professional sport. So we've got Arsenal Football Club that use Myzone for every senior.
So we're a Man U team. Yeah.
Arsenal are currently on the top of the Premiership.
They won't be for long.
And the one variable that they've put in this year is they've got Myzone for every youth, female and senior player. Get that down. And we are working with those guys on helping support their GPS unit so that they can actually have their heart rate load that's feed in there. And we work with a lot of sports teams. They come to us because heart rate is what we do. So that's just another, but also for weekend teams and sports teams, it's all about that community, and that's where Myzone sort of like, you know, everyone has their own, you know, zone, so to speak, and we just want to encourage more people to be more active more often. If we do that, hey, everyone wins out of it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Dave. You've been a busy guy.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So it's good. And hey, love what you guys are doing. You guys rock. You bring information to the actual industry and share that knowledge, and it's very, very, very honourable of both of you doing that. You're both rock stars.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Well done. Hooroo!
So here we are at the IHRSA trade show. We have a phenomenal concept here. Started 3 years ago. We've got Hailee, owner of Truk. We love this concept. Tell us about it. I hear this was a pandemic pivot.
Yeah, it was a pandemic pivot. So 3 years ago, I owned a brick and mortar gym, and when we were in the business of being inside, breathing hard and touching things, and we thought, man, this might not be a thing we can do ever again.
Breathing hard and touching things.
That's a whole other show.
I thought, you know, we have to do something innovative outside the box. So my co-founder Josh, he's a trainer at the gym. He's been talking about this mobile idea for a long time. We put our heads together and we said, let's fail fast. So we created a prototype version for ourselves, and people started approaching us saying, how do we buy trucks? So we're in the manufacturing business now.
Great. So you were at Miami last year, which was the IHRSA show, and it's much busier this year, which is really exciting. Yep. What did you change from Miami to San Diego? Sunny San Diego. There's almost been no sun.
So we iterated on a few things. We have a new door design. So the doors are one door instead of we had four individual doors. They're all on actuators, which you use an app to open and close them. We iterated on some of the systems that move things in and out of the truck. We just refined everything. We made it look just as good as it possibly could. The goal for us is that when you walk up, it looks beautiful. You don't want to change anything. So we spent a lot of time just refining systems and making it the best on the market.
So we're in California, where every second person has a Tesla, which is not cheap. Right. I expect that a truck's even more expensive. How are you being funded, and how's this being grown, I guess, as a concept?
Yeah, so we're privately funded. We're funding it ourselves. Right. So part of why we're here is to sell trucks for operating costs, but also...
You want a truck? I wouldn't mind a truck.
Yeah, I could live in this. Actually.
No, you could live in it. We're also looking for partnerships. So for folks who are looking to see the concept and help us scale, we think if we can scale in a way that really, gets our foot all the way in this lane, that no one catches us.
What sort of partners are you looking for?
Financial investors, but not just financial investors, people who understand manufacturing, people who understand how to scale fitness businesses. So someone who has that kind of suite that marries that, investment mind, but also understands technology and manufacturing and is looking to do something totally outside of the box. This is an industry disruptor. Nobody's done anything like this before. We have interest worldwide. I get 10 to 20 emails a week from folks all over the world saying they want this truck, and I can't get it to them because we don't have international distribution.
Oh, that's great. Well, you're in the equipment business. You've probably got some good questions.
Yeah. So who's it for? Who's your target demographic?
Right? So we're a solutions-based business. So we're working with existing brick and mortars who are looking for an expansion opportunity, low risk, high impact. So it's a profit center, right? I can run 45 people off this truck. Whoa. Yeah, in a strength-based class. That's right, anywhere. So I'm not just serving the clients that are inside my walls. Now I can go out and serve parts of the community that weren't coming to my gym in the first place. Corporate wellness has been a huge lane for us in terms of revenue because we can go on site, and what they're willing to pay for the convenience is pretty good. And it's different than a corporate membership where that person has to live in my service area in order for them to take advantage of that. Now they're going out at lunch or before or after work. So that's been a huge model for us. So existing brick and mortar, looking for a revenue, retention, and recruitment tool. And then, sole proprietors, individuals, trainers, instructors who are looking to get themselves established and own their own business, but don't have the overhead to be able to fund a 5,000 square foot gym or studio.
Schools, colleges,
that's right.
residential areas.
Oh, I mean,
groups.
the applications, community rec, schools, active older adult fitness, performance fitness. You could roll this up to in the U.S. we call it a soccer park, right?
Yeah.
And run and run performance classes off both sides. So
all for the parents while the kids are playing.
And then you keep it there. Right. And then during the weekend when you're stuck watching your kids' games, now we're doing adult fitness on the weekend. So
we'll see you at Coachella.
Yes.
Are you coming to Coachella?
No, but I know that'd be great.
Kind of reminds me of like in England we used to have these ice cream vans.
Right.
And they'd play the sound.
Yeah.
And everyone come out, so you could come out and do a workout and then go back in the house.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, if you're running this the right way, you're not moving at a ton. You've built a group fitness business schedule, and you're running classes in the morning. You're doing personal training off of it. Passive income is maybe you have a couple trainers working for you. I mean, you can really scale this out just in the same way you can a gym.
One of the things I've noticed, and being in manufacturing ourselves, is the high degree of design. Somebody's very smart has put a lot of time into this. So have you figured this out yourselves, or have you partnered up with someone for the Wow, that's really cool.
My co-founder, Josh, he's the engineering brain.
Okay.
I always know if he calls me before 7 a.m., he's been up all night solving some problem. So I typically decline that call, go for a run, come back after I've had a cup of coffee, and then we start to brainstorm. But no, I mean, he's been thinking about this for such a long time, and we've spent 2 years in R&D refining this in such a way. I mean, and just taking things apart and putting it back together, and we're
so
working.
does he make this stuff, or have you had to find a partner?
This is all Torque equipment.
Okay.
So Torque is our equipment partner. The box manufacturer is out of Wisconsin, so they've actually built the box for us.
Right.
But all the design, the way, some of the hinging systems we created ourselves. We had a fabricator put together for us, and we have patents pending on a lot of this, the hinging systems and the hanging systems and things like that. So yeah, it's Josh's brainchild in terms of that.
So how many of these are out there now?
So we just started selling trucks 2 weeks ago.
Oh, right,
yeah,
okay.
So we've got quite a few contracts pending, but the market and the lane is still wide open.
So roughly, if I wanted to buy a fit truck, what kind of investment would it take?
So the biggest, most well-appointed version, the 4.0, we have 3 models. Comes with all the equipment, program supplies, all the technology. This is actually powered by solar panels, so you never even have to turn the truck on to use it. So it's fully functional without turning the truck on. This version costs $350,000.
Right. Okay. And do you do a sort of a higher and a lower version?
Yeah. So we have the biggest version. This one, the 4.0, is $350,000. The middle version is the 3.0. That's $300,000, and then the entry level is $250,000. That's the 2.0.
I guess cheaper than building a.
Oh my gosh.
Place.
Studio. That's right. And you're putting tenant finish in a building you don't own, and in a brick and mortar that you can't move. If it's not working for some reason, you can't roll down the street. So I have both opened and closed gyms, and I learned more about how to run a successful gym by closing one than I ever did, and I poured all of that knowledge into this and solved all of those problems.
And the way we're going, we're all going to be homeless, so we may as well be living in a truck.
That's right. That's right.
Great investment.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Amazing innovation.
Nice to meet you both.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you've got any value from it whatsoever, then please do us a favor, like, subscribe, tell somebody, and that will help us to be able to continue to do more of these and help you escape your own personal limits. Thanks for listening.